A great moment right now in America's Game of the Week as the beloved Cam Chancellor raises the 12th man flag. Here in the home of the Seahawks, had to retire because of a neck injury, four-time Pro Bowler. And he put the strong in strong safety.
Yeah, he did.
And they miss him. It's the Dallas Cowboys and the Seattle Seahawks. It's the Seahawks home opener. It's the Cowboys' second road game. Seattle comes in 0-2. The Cowboys come in 1-1 and off a win at home over the Giants. Seattle won the toss. They defer, so Dak Prescott and the Cowboys start this day with the football. Glad you're with us. As Sebastian Janikowski will knock it away. A chance for a return by Deontay Thompson. Picks his way near the 30 and across, knocked down near the 33. That's a 34-yard return as Austin Calitro, who's getting a lot more work at linebacker because of injuries, is there to make the stop. Here's Dak Prescott. He has had two okay games, and the talk after the win over the Giants, Troy, was that they're going to let him run the ball more than they have his first 2 years.
Well, they sure did last week against the New York Giants. 7 rushes for a career-high 45 yards. That's certainly a weapon that they need to take advantage of again here this afternoon.
Elliott running to the left side. And Elliott is going to push the pile out to the 39. Ezekiel Elliott is coming off his first consecutive efforts of rushing for less than 80 yards. This is a different offensive line because of the absence of Travis Frederick, the all-pro center. They have a rookie at left guard. There just has not been a lot of room for Elliott to use. Ezekiel Elliott has gotten off to slower starts in his first 2 seasons, but yes, I think part of it is that, but most of it is the fact that you just said that this offensive line is not playing at the same level that they had in other years. Second down and 5. Prescott fires, pass caught. Tavon Austin, nothing. Knocked down by McDougald. And a loss of 1. So now we'll look at the rest of the names, and there's that rookie at left guard and the backs and receivers. They do it by committee. It's a big committee, and it gets better and bigger by the week. 7 wide receivers, 4 tight ends. There's the group we show you. Yeah, 7 receivers, 4 tight ends for an offense that's built around the running game. 3rd down and 6. And a flag in the secondary.
12 players on defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
Well, that makes it 3rd down and 1. Too many men on the defense for Seattle. At least one of those guys on the defense for Seattle is Earl Thomas. He did not practice on Friday for personal reasons. There was some speculation he might not play. Talked to Pete Carroll yesterday. He said no problem, he's ready to go, and he's out there. It's 3rd and 1. A little confusion right now with this defense. Hand off to Elliott, and a good play off the edge. It's 4th down. Bobby Wagner missed a week ago. Earl Thomas was in there as well. A loss of 1. It's 4th down. Well, they missed Bobby Wagner last week, and he's right there in the middle of the screen, and he just is able to shoot the gap. Nobody picks him up, and that's a great stop. A lot of chatter there on that defensive side of the ball prior to the snap, but turn loose an all-pro guy like Bobby Wagner, he's going to make those plays just like he did. So it is a quick 3 and out. Good high-handing punt. The left foot of Chris Jones. A flag comes in as Tyler Lockett hauls in the fair catch. And you see the left arm hanging for Tavon Frazier. They just got their other safety, Xavier Woods, back. And Frazier is in some pain on the sideline. We get the call here.
During the kick, illegal block in the back. Number 23, return team, half the distance to the goal. First down.
We get Nico Thorpe for that, and that will back Russell Wilson and the Seattle offense up. And if there's one thing they want to do here today, it's what they've said going into each of their first 2 games, establish the run, and they didn't do that at all at Chicago last Monday night.
Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why they want to do that. Pete Carroll, of course, he has always carried the philosophy that you want to run the football and play great defense, but also because they're facing this Cowboys defensive front, particularly DeMarcus Lawrence, who can flat out get after the quarterback, coming off a huge game on Sunday night against the Giants.
Here is a handoff to Carson, and he's wrapped up by Sean Lee. And there was some worry for the Cowboys that they might not have Sean Lee. He's got a tight hamstring, but there he is, makes a play. Here's the offense, and there have been some shuffling up on that offensive line with Joey Hunt getting the start at center. And then a change with Sweezy moving to left guard and DJ Fluker back at right guard. Handoff again to Carson. Not much. Third down coming up as he got 3, and Sean Lee is there for the tackle yet again.
Yeah, Sean Lee, like you talked about, having the hamstring and questionable coming into this game, whether or not he was going to be able to go and how long will he be able to go. We all know what happened last year without him. He's a force there in the middle, but because of some of the moves and then the maturity and another year under his belt of Jalen Smith, along with the first-round pick Leighton Vander Esch, they're more equipped this year to handle a loss like Sean Lee, but he is a difference maker for this defensive team.
Third down and 5. Extra men on the rush. They get home, and the pass is broken up, but a flag in the area of the hit on Wilson. Marshall was the target, didn't have it. Here comes the call from Carl Cheffers.
Personal foul. Roughing the passer. Number 98. Defense. 15-yard penalty. Automatic.
Well, here it is again.
First down.
Here it is again. They got Clay Matthews again earlier today on the same call as last week, and that's what they say, using his body and landing on him with full force, and that's the rule that's in the league, and that's the call. I don't agree with it, but I'm tired of talking about it. And these are plays that are changing outcomes of games. Tyrone Crawford comes in, a textbook play in most years. This year, for some reason, whatever reason, it's a penalty, and Seattle keeps the ball.
Mike Pereira is with us. We'll hear from him after this play. It's first down. What a call, and a big one, with Seattle backed up instead of a 3 and out. By penalty on that hit by Crawford, it's a first down. As Carson is able to cross the 30, Mike Pereira, there have been some calls made already through the early part of this year that make you just question what in the world is going on in the NFL. What do you think of that call?
Well, we've gotten away from the lift and drive into the ground and just gone to landing on top of the quarterback with all your body weight. There's really nothing else a defender can do, in my opinion.
Here's Carson able to get outside and out of bounds with a first down. Here it is again, and this was called against Crawford, which allows this drive to continue. And it's for, you would think, landing with the body weight on the quarterback.
And as the rule states, landing on the quarterback with all or most of your body weight. And again, we've gotten away from the Tony Siragusa, Rich Gannon lift and drive into the ground. This was not like Clay Matthews last week, but this again here. I'm just not so sure what a defender can do.
It's a confusing time in this league for sure with regard to that. Here's Wilson, throws, and the pass too high for the rookie tight end Dissly. It'll be second down and 10.
Last week on Sunday night in that win against the Giants defensively, Chris Richard, who had been the defensive coordinator for the Seattle Seahawks the previous 3 seasons, he, as the secondary coach, he was calling a lot of the defensive calls, and a lot of people therefore thought that's why they brought more pressure. That wasn't necessarily the case, although he does like to be more aggressive as a defensive caller than Rod Marinelli. And here in the early going, we've seen Jalen Smith come off the edge, and also Damian Wilson, and they're continuing with it again today.
Here's the first round pick, Rashad Penny, off the right side on 2nd and 10, gets 5, and Aruzier is there for the stop for Dallas, so another third down coming up. And if you I want to talk about history with the Seahawks offensively. 31 straight games without an opening drive touchdown. That chance is still alive, at least right now, because of that penalty on Crawford. Seattle's rushed it 5 times for 20 yards. Blitz off the edge. Pass is caught for a first down to midfield by Tyler Lockett. And a gain of 8.
Well, the Cowboys like to play a lot of one-on-one looks with these wide receivers, and a good route there by Lockett. He's able to get inside. Chidobe Awuzie is in coverage, and they are able to convert. Got a nice drive going, like you said. It looked like they were going to be punting, but now they're taking advantage of the opportunity afforded them.
On first down, Carson is swallowed up, and well played by this Dallas defense. A loss of 2, and Sean Lee was the first guy there again.
You see these linebackers and how aggressive they are, and Sean Lee and Jalen Smith in the defensive front. I thought last week already Sean Lee with 6 tackles today.
I mean, that's a game's worth.
for a lot of people it is, that's for sure. I thought this defensive unit played awfully well on Sunday night. They were flying around. They were more physical than the Giants were, and Sean Lee has picked up right where he left off.
Kind of a stacked look on the outside. Handoff is to Carson. Flag flies. And Carson gets 3. As Tyrone Crawford makes the stop.
Number 64. Offense. 10-yard penalty. Second down.
That's Sweezy, who has moved to left guard, and that's Tyrone Crawford, who has been busy already here on this first possession by Seattle. And so they check out Tyrone Crawford. And we will welcome you in from afar to our broadcast booth. Glad you're with us. Joe Buck with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. And, well, an interesting start to this one. Another call that will be talked about, although maybe not as serious as the one against Clay Matthews a week ago. It happened again, as you said earlier today, with Clay Matthews, and we've already seen one against Tyrone Crawford that's allowed this drive to continue.
Yeah, it's just that, you know, the players don't like it. The quarterbacks even don't like it. We heard Aaron Rodgers talk about it this week, and the league just can't seem to get out of their own way. I mean, with the helmet rule that they put in and caused a lot of controversy throughout the preseason, and then this rule, and I don't get it.
Handoff is to Carson on second down, and a good run back inches inside Dallas territory to make third down more manageable.
We'll see what they're able to do here on third down, but they talked to us and said that they were real disappointed in the fact that Chris Carson on Monday night did not have any carries, and he's been productive when he's had his opportunities, and felt that they really needed to feed him the ball early in this game and try to establish the running game like you talked about. And so far they've done that. They've gotten him the ball, and now they're faced with a third and long.
Already 6 carries for Carson. 29th ranked offense on third down for the Seahawks. Blitz again. Wilson sidesteps it, but skips it in. And it'll be fourth down.
Yeah, so they bring Jalen Smith. They're bringing him more, something he's good at. He did it at Notre Dame, and he's able to come right up the gut. Nobody blocks him, and somehow Russell Wilson's able to get past him. The back is there, should have been able to block that up. Doesn't see Smith. Chris Carson, the back who should have protected, and then forces a punt.
Michael Dixon, the rookie, the Seahawks traded up to get out of Texas. The Aussie knocks it end over end, and he is really developing into a weapon for the Seahawks here in his rookie year. Thursday night, we cannot wait to get at it. Coming to Fox, it's the start of Week 4. And the Minnesota Vikings and the Los Angeles Rams great matchup, and on the air at 7:30 Eastern right here on Fox.
You know, those Thursday night games are hard on players to turn around with the short week and get ready to play just 4 days later. But for the Vikings, I've got to imagine they're pretty happy about that after the thumping they took today.
That's just hard to figure. Minnesota can take it on the chin from the Bills, but they did. Here's a handoff to Elliott, cuts back, crosses the 20, and a nice run on first down. And a gain of 7. You know who we haven't heard from yet? Erin Andrews. What's going on, Erin?
Well, you know who we are hearing from, these fans, and that's something obviously the Seattle Seahawks, Pete Carroll mentioned to us, they're hoping to take from. You guys mentioned Bobby Wagner coming back from injury. I spoke with him before the game. He said, you can't candy coat this. It's a must win today. We can't go 0-3, but with such a young team, he's been stressing to these guys, don't play tense, try to enjoy yourself and take from this crowd.
Here is a handoff to Austin, shows off that speed, and then gets dragged down on the sideline at the end of an 18-yard run. And Tavon Austin is used to playing games on the road here in Seattle, the former Ram, and that's a nice pickup for a first down.
Yeah, they've used him like this already with the jet sweep, and something that he did a lot of when he was with the Rams. And they didn't get him involved very much in Week 1's game against the Carolina Panthers, but last week, third play of the game, they take a shot down the field, 64-yard touchdown. 3 plays later, they hand him the ball on a reverse. He's a real weapon, and I think he's a much better route runner than he gets credit for as well.
Cowboys will use a timeout here before the first down, and let's check in for a game break with Kurt.
I know a lot of your audience was watching the overtime in Atlanta. It is over. How about Drew Brees, quarterback sneak, the only possession of the OT, 7 minutes. The Saints knock off the Falcons 43-37. Brees had that touchdown run and 3 touchdown passes. Matt Ryan threw for 5 touchdowns. More importantly, an overtime game that didn't end in a tie. Joe?
Yeah, we've seen that a little bit too often already. And boy, how about the points that the Saints are putting up, even in their loss Week 1 against Tampa Bay, but they end up getting that win over Atlanta in that NFC South matchup.
Well, that's what the league wanted. They wanted some more scoring after last year. They implemented some points of emphasis to help out these receivers, and it has shown.
Rare throw, pass is broken up, and now they're going to say catch and fumble. Thomas on the return. Gallup had it, lost it. They're calling it a catch, and Seattle takes over inside the 30. We welcome in a new audience, and we just had a turnover. It'll be reviewed, and now they're going to overturn the call after that long run back and finally say incomplete pass.
Well, let's take a look at it and see. I didn't see that it hit the ground. Gallup had it. And it's hard to tell from that angle, but it's close as to whether or not the ball hit the ground with Earl Thomas there off the deflection.
It's on his leg.
That's an interception.
That should be an interception. Instead of a catch and fumble, it was in and out of the hands of Gallup.
Seattle is challenging the ruling on the field of an incomplete pass.
Thomas pins it against his leg. Is that what you saw, Mike Pereira?
Exactly what I see, Joe. Unfortunately here, since they did rule incomplete, they can reverse it to an interception, but no advance. So while they will actually reverse this, which we'll see as they look at New York, we'll come back to see where it ends up.
Welcome back to CenturyLink Field, and how ironic as they move the ball back to the Seattle 49, but they've overturned the call. They've given Earl Thomas the interception, pinning it against his leg, somehow keeping it off the ground. It's his 27th career interception. Look at this play. And a guy who Troy has been very vocal about wanting to play for the Dallas Cowboys, while he doesn't get a contract extension here in Seattle, is the guy to pick off that pass.
Well, he's played awfully well, you know, here through 2.5 games. And Pete Carroll upset. If they had not have overruled that call on the field and they just had gone and then reviewed it naturally, they would have gotten the yardage picked up.
Here's a toss to Carson, running hard, and Carson is into Dallas territory with a gain of 3, and Byron Jones is there to force it out.
Yeah, you know, by the officials getting together and then ruling that it was an incomplete pass, you know, then it had to be reviewed upstairs, and then they lose the yardage that they would have gotten, and that's what Pete Carroll was so upset about. On a turnover, they would review that anyway.
And it cost the Seahawks 18 yards of field position. Now 2nd down and 7. Carson's already carried it more times in this game than he did all of Monday night in Chicago. 7 times already. Pass to the sideline from Marshall, forced out by Jones. Short of 1st down yardage, 3rd and short coming up, under 5 to go opening quarter.
Well, you watch this offense and we see Brandon Marshall, and he joined the team this year. This is his 3rd team in 3rd seasons, and a guy who's starting to wind down, you know, at his age, 34 years old. But the guy that they're missing today as well as last week is Doug Baldwin, and someone who's just a real matchup problem with some of the speed and quickness that he possesses and big play ability.
So 3rd down and 4. Pass is off the hand of Marshall and incomplete. It'll be 4th down, and Pete Carroll sends the punt team out there.
That's pretty good coverage by Byron Jones, and you know, a ball that gets away from Russell Wilson a little bit. But Byron Jones, I know in visiting with Russell Wilson yesterday, boy, he had a lot of good things to say about Byron Jones. Feels he's one of the more underrated players in the league, and watching him this year, there's no doubt that he looks more comfortable at corner than he ever did at safety, and he's played well. Good job by this defense forcing a punt after that turnover offensively.
Yeah, it's a quick 3 and out. The punt is down by the long snapper Tyler Ott. Inside the 10, 38-yard punt. Cowboys get it back. No score in Seattle. Crowd will climb into it as the Cowboys will start at their 7. They started at their own 15 on the last possession. It ended in Dak Prescott's first interception of the year. Off the hands of Michael Gallup and pinned against the leg of Earl Thomas. Elliott right side. To the 10. A gain of 3 where Bobby Wagner, the 4-time Pro Bowler, as we said, made 42 straight starts until missing Monday night's game in Chicago. They need him in the center of this defense. One of the 2 guys left, the Pro Bowlers, with Earl Thomas on a defense that was one of the most punishing defenses in the league, and just dripping in Pro Bowlers. It is a different look in Seattle.
Yeah, it is. Obviously a lot of new faces and a lot of guys that are new to the system, but yeah, of course, they're a different defense here at home. They open up their first 2 games on the road. They're different here.
Pass is caught by the tight end Swain, and it'll be 3rd down. Let's go to Carissa for a game break.
Thanks, Joe. Rams up 7-6 in the Battle of LA when Jared Goff finds Robert Woods for this 3-yard score. Rams up 14-6. Full house there, Joe. Joe, Troy, Aaron, and Mike.
We'll be there on Thursday, and the Rams can make it look easy at times, and they're doing it again to start the day, trying to get to 3-0 this afternoon. 3rd down here for Dak Prescott, 3rd and 3. Prescott passes incomplete for Swain. McDougal was out there to knock it away. It's 4th down, a quick 3 and out.
And just tight man coverage across the board by Seattle, and nowhere really for Prescott to go other than Swain. And you know, Swain's not a guy who's going to outrun very many people, and especially that matchup there against Bradley McDougal. Just good coverage. They back up Dallas, and now Seattle should get outstanding field position, which they've been unable to do anything with the penalty that kept the first drive alive, and then the takeaway by Earl Thomas, and this Cowboys defense has shown up.
There's a flag for the hit on the punter. And as that ball rolls out of bounds inside the 25, no matter what they call, it'll be a 1st down.
Running into the kicker, number 18, defense. That 5-yard penalty will result in a 1st down.
It's Jaron Brown. It's a 5-yard penalty, but that's enough for a first down. So it's not roughing, but just running into, but that gives the Dallas Cowboys a first down.
Yeah, for sure. And, you know, Pete Carroll has got to be extremely frustrated. Of course, a heck of a punt there by Chris Jones. They were going to be backed up a little bit, but nevertheless, now they give the ball right back to Dallas and allow them to keep this alive. And just too many penalties here in the early going for the Seattle team. And like we talked about, a lot of different faces, not as much talent as they once had, and it's been too much for them to overcome, and that was another costly one.
4 penalties, 2 on special teams against Seattle. Prescott throws to the sideline and too high for Gallup. Michael Gallup, the rookie, could not secure a catch earlier. He comes into this game with 2 catches, 14 yards. Their top receiver, at least statistically, is Cole Beasley with 9 catches for 86. But they just don't have much offensively in the way of stats. Beasley is the most active, but not much going on the outside.
No, not much at all. So keep an eye here on Beasley. He's the guy when they got 2 deep safeties and some of those one-on-one looks. He's the guy that Prescott should be looking for.
Here's Elliott left side. There's Wagner. And Elliott drives to the 21. 3rd down coming up. Some more pushing and shoving after the play.
There's no doubt when you look at this Cowboys passing game that they've just struggled. I mean, they've had a hard time pulling it together, and a group that didn't play a lot together in preseason. They had some injuries and then decided to rest some players going into that 3rd game, and it looked better to kick off last week's game against the Giants, and then it sputtered again there for most of the rest of that ball game. It's still a work in progress, to say the least.
0 for 2 on 3rd down. Blitz coming. Elliott picks it up. Prescott throws too high for Beasley. And it's 4th down, and this Dallas offense can't get anything going. One of the biggest injuries that any team has had to suffer here early in the year is that to Travis Frederick. And if you don't think a center is important, or if you don't think an all-pro center sets the rest of the group around him for success, well, you're missing the point. Guillain-Barré syndrome, they don't know when he'll be back. They did not put him on IR. It's just a different looking line and not very good protection and not room for Elliott to run the ball. 49-yard punt. Lockett somehow able to secure it. Nothing on the return. Anthony Brown on the tackle. Seattle has it. No score. Aerial coverage on what is a beautiful day here in Seattle, brought to you by State Farm. Pete Carroll chomping on the gum, stomping along the sideline, and wondering when his quarterback and the offense is going to get it going. Here is Rashad Penny reversing field, and there's nothing over there either. You know, we talked about the turnover. Pete Carroll told us yesterday it's like college. He was obviously a tremendous college coach at USC. When you lose your senior class, Michael Bennett was traded to Philly. Cliff Averill released with a neck injury. Richard Sherman released. He's now in San Francisco. Sheldon Richardson walked away. Cam Chancellor, we saw, had to retire. They're without Doug Baldwin right now because of injury. This is a team that is a shell of its former self. Wilson finds the tight end, and a tackle by Byron Jones. Disley good for 4 yards. 3rd down coming.
Yeah, the only difference in that, though, Joe, is at USC he had a steady flow of blue chip talent that was coming in each year, just like Nick Saban found out when he left the Dolphins and then went back to college himself. And you know, it's a different group. It certainly is a transitional year, as we know. Last year they had those guys, but a number of them missed a lot of time because of injury, and now this year just they're not even on the roster. But you know, hey, everybody's got to start somewhere. Pete's remaining positive, but this, Aaron pointed it out earlier in this game, a huge game. It's been 20 years since the team's made the postseason, starting the season 0-3.
Blitz coming, pass to the sideline is caught and now knocked away They're going to say incomplete, a bobble, and an incompletion to Brandon Marshall. Byron Jones knocked it out. That was close to a catch and fumble.
Yeah, it sure was, and this is what Brandon Marshall can do now, and let's take a closer look at it. He lets the ball get in on him. First of all, it's up on his chest, but he never had possession of the ball, but the press coverage is really where Brandon Marshall should excel, because he can body people up and use his big frame to make those kinds of plays, but doesn't take advantage of that play.
Dixon hits a knuckler, knocks it out of bounds. They're going to mark it at the 20. The Cowboys are back on offense, and Aaron Andrews, they're dealing with some injuries on the offensive line. We'll get to that when we start the second quarter. We'll hear from Aaron. Nothing. America's Game of the Week back after this from your local Fox station. First play to start the second quarter, and Prescott is in trouble and ripped to the ground. Barkevious Mingo made the play. And a loss of 10.
Well, they bring Swaim across, and they think that's going to influence Mingo, and he's not going to be able to get up the field, and that Prescott can get outside the pocket. They're trying to make a play to the outside to Tavon Austin, but Mingo, who is in a little bit of a different role with this defense than he was with Indianapolis. He was a hand in the ground player for the Colts. He's a stand-up backer for this team, and he makes a big play.
Now second down and 20, and the handoff is to Elliott, and that gets the yardage plus one back that they lost on that sack. We were going to hear from Aaron Andrews, and she's the one wearing a beautiful pink jacket. I'm just wearing a gray coat. But she was going to talk about Tyron Smith, who went into the locker room. He got hit in the chest. He sprinted out right before that drive started. They were also rewrapping the ankle of Joe Looney. But they're all back out there now on third down and 9.
Well, Cowboys fans know how dismal this offense performed without Tyron Smith in the lineup a year ago, so it's great to see him back out on the field.
Out of the shotgun, Prescott underneath and off the hands of Ezekiel Elliott. It's fourth down, and we have seen little to no offense from either side to this point.
There's been a little pressure in the face of Dak Prescott. Even Zach Martin, who is all world, he's been pushed back a couple times now into the lap of Prescott. That's impacted some of these throws. So this defensive front for Seattle getting a nice push, but still with that, Ezekiel Elliott had a step on Wagner and a catchable ball and just couldn't reel it in.
Jones hits another beauty. He's performed well in this first half. Lockett just weaving his way through tacklers out across the 35 to the 37. A frustrated number 21, Zeke. Seattle has it, no score. Well, what's it going to be? Who's going to break through here offensively? We haven't seen much of anything. Cowboys 38 total yards. Seahawks with 49.
Yeah, both teams tracking for under 200 yards of offense in this game.
On first down, Russell Wilson keeps and has it batted back by Crawford.
Big reason for Seattle is it just, of course, Dak Prescott got sacked on first down on their last possession, and then Seattle's had a tough time on first down of their own. They've run it 5 or 6 times, very little yards to show for it, and then a couple incomplete passes. So they've had good field position, but they've gotten behind the chains, and that's been the story really for this team through the first 2 weeks.
Wilson started 3 for 8 for 15 yards. Prescott 2 for 7 for 4 yards. Handoff is to Carson. Sean Lee there for the stop. Marcus Lawrence as well in a gain of 4, and this was a handful of minutes ago. Doug Baldwin was screaming and upset and obviously frustrated. He's hurt. He's got a partial tear, a sprained MCL in his right knee, and man, he is hot.
Well, that's a lot of frustration, I can tell you, just coming into the game, because for someone who's inactive and not even in uniform to get that upset there's a lot of anger right there for whatever reason.
Carson lines up at the top of the screen. Wilson throws, and the catch is made by Lockett for a first down. And just to go back to it afterward, just seething over on the sideline. But he eventually said, "Hey, you good? Yeah, okay." Feel better?
What else you gonna say? Yeah, we're good. He'll thank us later for putting on national television. Him getting an earful.
From the 46, Carson takes it and is able to push forward and gain 3. New offensive coordinator is Brian Schottenheimer. Took over the play calling from the dismissed Darrell Bevell, who was here for 7 years. So this is new for Russell Wilson, as he has his first change at offensive coordinator. A player is down. That's Antwaun Woods. They look at him. We'll take a break. Antwaun Woods, in all 318 pounds of him, able to walk over to the sideline under his own power. Looks like he's getting ready to come back in when needed. 2nd down and 6 for Seattle and a scoreless first half. Handoff is to Carson. He slipped. He was in on the stop with Awuzie and a gain of 3, so 3rd and 3 coming.
Yeah, I was going to say, guess who finished him off? The tackling machine, number 50, Sean Lee, and the hamstring looks pretty good today. I said it was a little tender coming in, but this is a defense with great speed, and you talk about the great Seattle defenses over the years, and then Chris Richard coming over to Dallas, and what this young unit looks like. It looks a lot like some of those great Seattle defenses. They have the makings of being something really special this year.
Lee already with 8 tackles. 3rd down and 3. Quick throw. Pass is caught by Van Nett. And the veteran tight end, Nick Van Nett, is good for 12 and a first down.
Yeah, Nick Van Nett, this is kind of nice for him. He comes off the line of scrimmage with soft coverage, and so he's not contested at the line of scrimmage. And you know, the tight end position, of course, they had Jimmy Graham last year. He leaves and goes to Green Bay. They bring in Ed Dixon. He hasn't yet played, and they've had to rely on a couple different guys, Van Nett being one, but the real surprise has been Will Dissly, the rookie out of Washington.
35, a 12-yard completion, longest play of the game for either side, and this for Van Nett out of his reach. It'll be 2nd down and 10. You know, Russell Wilson is one of those guys that just seemingly never has a bad word to say about anything. And when we talked to him, he said, you know, you got to fall in love with the process more than the result. And you need to relearn how to win around here. He's obviously the holdover. He said he got on the plane after the loss in Chicago on Monday night, flew back sitting next to Chris Carson, trying to remind him how good he can be. He's always been a leader type. He is the veteran voice now for this team. Handoff is to Penny, and he runs into a pile of bodies. Gets nothing. 3rd and 10. Here's Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. While Seattle's rebuilding, the Rams are putting it all together. The Chargers punting from their end zone, blocked by linebacker Corey Littleton, recovered by Blake Houghton for the touchdown. Rams lead this one 21-6. Joe?
Now timeout taken by Dallas. Rams took apart Arizona last week, and now their, I guess, new crosstown rival, the Chargers, this week. At least in the early going. Timeout by Dallas before a 3rd down and 10. And we will be right back after these messages from Pizza Hut and Fox 911. Back here for a 3rd down and 10. Cowboys show blitz. They come with it. Pass is underneath. The Carson's got a first down and more. As the Seahawks beat the blitz and convert on 3rd and 10. A completion for 19.
Just a missed assignment. He goes in the flat. Somebody's got to peel out and cover him. And both linebackers, they come up and hug. And just nobody then accounts for Chris Carson in the flat and an easy conversion.
Seahawks hurry it up. Pass to the end zone for the touchdown, Seattle, and Jaron Brown.
Cowboys go single high safety, and Jerron Brown just comes off the line. Chidobe Awuzie, he's soft, and there's just no way that the safety, Kayvon Frazier, is going to be able to get over there. Excuse me. Xavier Woods was in. No way he was going to be able to get over and make a play on that. Wide open for the touchdown.
Seahawks hurried it up. Might have caught Dallas a little unaware defensively. Jerron Brown is first with the Seahawks and a home lead for Pete Carroll, 7-0. Russell Wilson, who led the NFL in touchdown passes a year ago with 34, now has 6 in 2018. Seahawks converted 3 third downs on that drive. And Russell found 4 different receivers on that possession, and we have points on the board. They belong to Seattle. Deontay Thompson on the return. Able to cross the 20 and not much more. A return of 23 yards back to the touchdown.
Now let's take a look at it. Jerron Brown is going to run a seam here. You've got a seam here, and then they're going to put a 2-on-1 fast break on Xavier Woods, and he could have gone either way. Of course, Jerron Brown is the more open of the two, but outside leverage corners, you got 2-on-1 on the safety. Take your pick. And he's going to be wrong no matter what he does. He stays in the middle of the field. There was a little confusion there, it looked like, and there has been at different times. They had to call a timeout earlier because of some confusion, but they just got the right play against the right coverage.
Here's Elliott left side trying to get him going, and there's his biggest of the day out to the 40. Yeah, the Seahawks hurried it up twice. They forced a timeout once, and then the next time scored the touchdown. This has got to make the Cowboys feel good. They had 3 tight ends in there, including Rico Gathers, who was finally active last week, still looking for his first catch, a former basketball player at Baylor. Now first down up at their own 40. Season-long 19-yard run for Elliott. They give it to him again. And after getting met at the line of scrimmage, he gets 3.
Well, this run defense by Seattle, they got run over pretty good in that season opener against Denver, who rushed for just under 150 yards in that ball game. They tightened it up on Monday night against the Bears, and outside of that one run by Ezekiel to start this drive, they've held up pretty well. And of course, that's the challenge when you're facing this Cowboys offense.
Prescott, it's just not there. Prescott ends up on his back. Dak Prescott, when you look at the numbers, the rookie year was phenomenal. Went 13-3, won the division. His first 10 starts, he threw for at least 225 passing yards in each game. Troy, the last 24 starts, he's only reached 225 8 times, and it's been a slow start again today. 3rd down and 7. Cowboys 0 for 4 on 3rd down. Prescott, Beasley, a big one to the 39 of Seattle. 18 yards to Cole Beasley.
Well, they come off the edge with Trey Flowers, the rookie, and nobody then picks up Cole Beasley on the crossing route. Good protection. He's had people in his face. This time it's a clean pocket, and he delivers a nice throw.
7.5 to go in the half. Seahawks up 7-0. Here's Elliott. He gets 3. Michael Kendricks, who was signed late in the week prior to the Monday night game and ended up having a sack. He's been bothered by a bad ankle, and he is facing prison time. He's got a sentencing coming in January. Was released by the Browns after he was charged with insider trading, pled guilty, but able to play at least this week. Who knows how much more for Seattle. 2nd and 7.
Played well last week. Had a sack in that game against the Bears. And
Elliott right right side, trying to get the edge. Frank Clark on his back, and a flag is down. No gain on the play. We'll see who the call's against. And it's against Dallas.
Illegal formation offense. An eligible player was covered on the line of scrimmage. 5-yard penalty, second down.
Meanwhile, on the outside, these two teams have been going at it since the beginning. And here's the rookie, Trey Flowers, and Tavon Austin getting into it.
Trey Flowers is an interesting guy. As a 3-year starter at safety at Oklahoma State, Seattle saw him as a corner immediately, and he's playing outside.
Prescott, what a good throw. Finds Hearns. Prescott with a guy in his face. Frank Clark, who got a good jump, and somehow Prescott was able to find Hearns.
Prescott's had people in his face for a good part of this first half. He's just gotten driven back. Quentin Jefferson was the one who got a push. Zach Martin, as I said earlier, he's had his hands full. You don't see him getting knocked back into the backfield very often, but yeah, Prescott hasn't been as sharp as he'd like, but there's been some reasons for that. He had the nice throw to Cole Beasley to convert the third down with time, but there's been a lot of those dark jerseys in the backfield here in the first half.
Third down and 2. Prescott with Elliott left alone down the sideline. Stays up. And there's no signal of a touchdown yet. We'll see if Elliott stayed in bounds before the catch. There are flags out there. There's an official with his hat off, which usually tells you the player was out of bounds. And we'll get the call from Sheffers. Let's see. Yep, out of bounds before he caught that ball. And that's why the official threw his hat.
Illegal touching of the pass. Number 21 offense. He went out of bounds, reestablished, and was the first to touch the pass.
He just
There's
lost
no
track of
yardage
where
on
he
the penalty.
was.
Fourth down.
Earl Thomas, who is coming off the edge, he was going to blitz, but then when Ezekiel Elliott didn't pick him up, he knew it was his man. He tries peeling, and then because Prescott's scrambling, you're going to see, there goes Earl Thomas. He's trying to get back and cover Elliott. He sees Prescott scrambling, so he comes off of him, and Ezekiel really, for no reason, just lost track of where he was on the field and went out of bounds.
Now the 28-year-old rookie, Brett Maher, from 50 yards. 2 for 3 in the NFL. And able to hook it through. So the surprise cut of Dan Bailey gave the job to Brett Maher. And he bends it in what is now a 7-3 game. 7-3 game now with the Seahawks on top after the 50-yarder hit by Maher. Elliott stepped out of bounds. He was left alone out there on the edge. We'll give you another look at it. Maher will kick it away. Chance for a return by Lockett to the 25. Go back to that play.
Yeah, take a closer look at it, and Earl Thomas is a good look, and then he peels off and is in coverage. It looked like he, as I said earlier, was the guy who was going to take Elliott if he didn't stay in the backfield to protect. There he went out of bounds, but a lot of conversation over here on the sidelines with Michael Kendricks and Earl Thomas along with Pete Carroll trying to sort through that. Remember, Kendricks, as you said, he just joined the team a little over a week ago, and he's still learning this scheme, and so they're working through some things on the sidelines, trying to clean it up in case it were to come up again in this game.
Seahawks with the ball, 3 timeouts, plenty of time on the clock, just under 5.5 to go. And off to Carson. Up to the 30, game 5.
We talked about Brian. Well, we got another man down. That's Jeff Heath.
We had Crawford down earlier. He got up. He's returned since, and now Jeff Heath, who is pretty much out there the entire game for the Dallas Cowboys, be it on defense, special teams, whatever. 6th-year player you see out of Saginaw Valley State. He's taken over that strong safety spot. And will limp off to the sideline. So they get Xavier Woods back, his first game since he hurt his hamstring in the middle of August in the preseason against Cincinnati. Kayvon Frazier is available, and there you see the left ankle, the inside part of the ankle by Heath was stepped on.
Yeah, he's been a good player for this defense. He's done some nice things, and he's a physical player. And knowing what Seattle wants to do with the running game, what his status is, we'll see. But if he's not able to come back, that will impact them.
So 2nd and 5, the clock down to 5 minutes left in the half.
Let's try.
Hand off to Carson. Carson knocked down about a half-yard short of first down yardage by the rookie Leighton Vander Esch.
Leighton Vander Esch, he has gotten some playing time. He can do a lot of different things. He's not just a one-trick pony. He can cover people. He can run. He's 240-some pounds, and he certainly looks the part. He's a heck of an athlete.
And Dallas will use their final timeout.
The 32nd.
So with that, a chance for us to look ahead to halftime. Here's Kurt.
Coming up on the Visa halftime, the Rams and Chargers in the fight for LA. And 5 teams fall from the ranks of the unbeaten. What are you doing?
Good. Keep it up.
It's all coming up on the Visa halftime. Joe and Troy, get me out of this, please.
All right, so thanks, guys. We will welcome you back inside the booth, and that's the second time now Dallas has had to take a timeout on defense to prevent a hurry-up. We'll have a 3rd down and less than a yard opportunity for Seattle to extend this drive right here.
Yeah, a little confusion on defense. They overall, they of course have done a nice job, but there has been some confusion, particularly on that sequence of plays before the touchdown that Seattle scored.
Here's a handoff for a first down to Trey Madden. Madden, the fullback, has his first carry of the season, good for 2.
We talked about Brian Schottenheimer a little bit, and him coming in as the new offensive coordinator. He said about 70% of the offense remained the same, and then he brought in some concepts in the run game as well as in the passing game. The terminology remained the same, and you see more and more of that when guys come in and coach these veteran quarterbacks rather than asking them to have to relearn the system.
Wilson keeps, steps up, gets hit, pass is complete, and that's Lockett for another first down. Seattle came into this game, Troy, talking about wanting more balance. They've run it 16 times, now thrown it 14.
Well, Jalen Smith, he's the one who was able to get the hit on Russell Wilson, but a great job by him of hanging in there and delivering a good throw.
No sacks yet. His Dallas defense, after Russell Wilson came in with 6 sacks, suffered in each of the first 2 weeks. This carry is good for 1.
And a defense led by Rod Marinelli, that has done a great job of getting after the quarterback. So just so many negative plays the first 2 weeks against Denver and then the Bears. And they opened the first play of the 2018 season offensively. They had a 7-man protection, and Russell Wilson took a 13-yard sack in that game, and it hasn't gotten a lot better until today. But they're holding up, and they're staying ahead of the chain.
Second down and 9 as Carson carries, and a good play made by the rookie Van Der Esch. No gain on the play, and that was a strong tackle from the 6'4", 255-pounder from Boise State.
Yeah, he's something else, and he's going to have himself one heck of a career, and you know, it's just finding some time to get him on the field and let him do his thing. And this is an organization that sure likes these Boise State players. They've had a lot of success with these guys, from DeMarcus Lawrence and Tyrone Crawford, and now Leighton Van Der Esch, who looks to be the real deal.
2-minute warning in Seattle. 3rd and 9 for the Seahawks when we come back. All right, 3rd down and 9 with 2 minutes left in the half. The Cowboys out of timeout. Seahawks have all 3. 7-3 Seattle. Seahawks have converted 4 straight 3rd downs. Wilson, Lockett, touchdown, Seattle. To Tyler Lockett.
The Cowboys trying to disguise coverage. Kayvon Frazier, 35. They're wanting to show a single high safety, but he's going to go back to 2 deep. Only he doesn't get deep enough. He should be taking away the outside receiver.
We'll get back to it as Janikowski knocks through the extra point.
Another look right here at Kayvon Frazier, and there's no threat. There's no threat down the middle to his side. And Chidobe Awuzie, he thought he was getting some help there to the outside. He's playing a soft cover 2, expecting help. Nobody running the seam inside. Nobody should have been holding Kayvon Frazier. He had all the room to get over and help Chidobe Awuzie, and just really a blown assignment. As soon as they went to 2 deep look, you're waiting for somebody to get to the middle of the field, which was on the opposite hash. But Kayvon Frazier just fails to do his job, and on 3rd and long, they give up a touchdown here before the first half.
1:52 remaining. A lot happened right there on those replays. Jerry Jones banged his fist down. We saw Doug Baldwin happy. Earlier he was yelling at guys on the sideline, and now all's well here in Seahawk land, up 11.
Well, the concern coming into the season for the Cowboys was safety play. How were they going to hold up? It's why they have an interest in Earl Thomas. And I'm sure that after this game, they're going to have even more interest than they already had.
Aaron Andrews, what do we know about Jeff Heath?
Yeah, not to pile on what's happening with the safeties for Dallas, but here's a look at Jeff Heath. Gets tangled up, stepped on. They tried to retape him, but now he's in the locker room getting x-rays on that left ankle, guys. But you know what they say when he comes out.
Well, meanwhile, that's what Lockett does. 10 of his career touchdowns. He's totaled 16, have been for 40 or more yards. That was for 52. He's a home run hitter. And he just went deep. From the 25, Prescott needs to get the ball down the field. Instead, he's sacked. Brought down by Jarran Reed. That's his first of the year.
Jarran Reed goes right through the rookie, Connor Williams. He has struggled throughout preseason and early this season with the bull rush. Jarran Reed pushes him right back, throws him, and gets to Prescott.
Second down and 18 now, setting up a screen for Elliott. And that was well played by McDougal. So this offensive line for the Dallas Cowboys have already said that Frederick's out. I don't know for how long, but it's gone from being regarded as the best in the NFL to one that's really struggling. I mean, not even close.
Yeah, it has struggled this season. And the guys like Tyron Smith, who he's been such a rock for the organization, he has struggled this year. And of course, you got the rookie who just gave up the sack, Connor Williams, and a guy who's going to benefit from a year in the offseason getting in the weight program, but that doesn't help him this year. And even Zach Martin, who is as good as anybody in all of football, probably the best guard in the NFL. He's been pushed back a little bit in this ball game too. So Seattle has certainly answered the call against this front, but the Cowboys now, a lot of football left to be played, but at 14-3, they're starting to play a game that they're not comfortable playing.
Seattle used their first timeout to stop the clock with 1:10 remaining. Here's a screen to the other side for Elliott. Long way to go. And a lot of blue shirts in his way, and the first guy there was Earl Thomas. A gain of 8. And another timeout is taken by Seattle. Well, last Thursday night against the Jets on the NFL Network, we were there, and it was Baker Mayfield making his NFL debut. Replaced Tyrod Taylor, injured late in the first half. He helped the Browns erase a 14-point deficit, their first win in 635 days. And Mayfield has been named the starter next week in Oakland on Fox.
I was just going to ask, has Hugh Jackson made that announcement yet?
After the game, he said, I have to watch the tape. No, you don't.
That's what every coach says, right?
That's the definition of coach speak. Here's Lockett with a return and some yardage down the sideline, out of bounds near the 40. 50-yard punt, 16-yard return, and there's opportunity here for Seattle with a fired-up Earl Thomas to make the deficit even bigger going into the break. We were there last December when the Seahawks visited Dallas, and in that game, Earl Thomas visited Jason Garrett on the walk back to the locker room and eventually said, come get me if the chance ever comes up. Somehow this deal's not been made. A lot of people thought it was because of this matchup here in week 3.
Well, that's what I thought, and I think Jerry Jones may come get him this week, but the price may have just gone up.
Pass to Van Ness. He stays in and gets hit by Smith. The clock continues to wind. The last report was a second-round pick was offered. Who knows what really is talked about, but that stuff gets out. Now word today that the Chiefs might also be in to try to get Earl Thomas. Over the middle, pass is caught. That's Davis. Mike Davis has a first down. Seattle uses their final timeout. Here it is from last December. A win by Seattle. Jason Garrett gets a surprise visit from Earl Thomas, and then here's what Thomas said after the game.
But when Seattle kicked me to the curb, please, the Cowboys, come get me here. That's the only place I would rather be, if I get kicked to the curb.
Saying when Seattle kicks me to the curb, he's in the last year of his deal. He wants an extension. He's 29 years old. He's still an incredible safety, that prototypical center fielder, and see where he ends up.
Well, and that took some real effort for him to get down there to see Jason Garrett. Their locker rooms are on completely opposite sides of the field. I mean, it wasn't like they just happened to be in the same area at the same time and he ran him down. I mean, he ran on the other side of the field and in the tunnel to get to him.
Here's Wilson kind of getting down low and then pops up and throws it out of bounds. I mean, you got to run through like 2 bars to get over there.
At least 2.
Pass
some good money
seekers.
in that. Those beer sales.
Well, Jason Garrett, we'd love to have him. but Seahawks trying to get their first win of the year here. That's Van Ness. Get yardage in little bitty chunks, and now 9 seconds remain. Doesn't take much to get into the field goal range of Janikowski, the 40-year-old left-footed kicker whose career long is 63 yards.
Well, if they play off again, they're going to get him in range, and now they'll come up and play press. He'll have a shot down the field if he wants to take it.
They're down in 7. And this one way out of bounds. Now 5 seconds remain. DeMarcus Lawrence with a little spin move out on the edge, and he was bearing down on Wilson, and now they're going to throw a flag. At the end of the play, way after. Wow. See if it's against Gregory, with Tyrone Crawford trying to say something to him. If it is, and it's a personal foul.
Well, Janikowski, out he goes. I think he's
right there.
Probably going to give him a shot anyway. It's just, you know, come on. I was out there in warm-ups watching Sebastian Janikowski, and he was kicking 58-yarders that would have been good from 65 yards. Before the penalty, it would have been a 61-yard field goal.
Automatic first down.
And now with that, I mean, this is...
It's an easy call. It's a dumb penalty. Jason Garrett glaring at Randy Gregory coming over to the sideline, a guy who has spent the majority of his career suspended. Now it becomes a 47-yard try for Janikowski. And he gets it. A sloppy first half for the Dallas Cowboys. An impressive first half for the Seattle Seahawks and Earl Thomas. Here are the plays of the first half, brought to you by Swiffer. First touchdown to Jerron Brown. Second touchdown to Tyler Lockett. And Pete Carroll in the home opener for the Seahawks is fired up. Seahawks get 10 points in the final couple of minutes as Janikowski knocks it through. 17-3. Visa halftime coming up after this. Was today's game flow, brought to you by Progressive on a beautiful day in Seattle, Washington, and a good day for the Seahawks so far as they lead by 14 points. First half stats, total yards, Cowboys are under 100 for the first half. Just over 200 are the Seahawks, and boy, that was just not a good half any way you look at it for Dallas.
Too many mistakes that cost them. Elliott running out of bounds on what would have been a touchdown, and then of course the penalty on Gregory. They give up points as a result of that. Instead of the touchdown, they settle for 3, and then they give up 3 points on the Janikowski field goal. But what a second quarter for Seattle offensively. They weren't doing much in that first quarter either, and as you said, 200 yards at halftime.
Here is Lockett, who has a touchdown catch in the game, and he takes a seat at the 15. That was well covered by Kayvon Frazier. Let's go down to Aaron.
Jason Garrett covering with me those mental mistakes going into the half. Very upset with what happened with Randy Gregory. He said those big plays have come because of the mental mistakes. I asked about Dak Prescott's slow start. He said our protection needs to be better. And finally, Pete Carroll with his offense. This mix, he's really happy about it. He said this is what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, just with regard to the play call and sticking with the run, Aaron, they've been able to run just enough. And Wilson, when he's had opportunity, he hasn't missed.
Well, that's been the key. Yeah, they've run it enough to help the offensive line, and then they protected Wilson.
They start this half with a run, and Carson is stood up after a gain of 3. Seahawks have carried it 19 times. They've thrown it 20, so basically 50-50. And you said it, you know, last week they got Chris Carson going early. He had 6 carries. He disappeared after the opening minutes of the second quarter. A lot of questions about that. Different story today. As they run with him again out to the 20, 3rd and long coming up.
And the reason they're getting those carries, Joe, unlike the first 2 weeks, is they've converted on 3rd down. They converted 60% on 3rd down in that first half, which keeps drives alive. It allows you to run the ball certainly more. And then week 1 against Denver, and then Monday night against Chicago, they were not very good on 3rd downs, and then you lose those opportunities. So the Cowboys coming out to start this second half after the struggles that they had. This is an important 3rd down for them to be able to make a stop, get off the field, and get the ball back to the offense.
Biggest stat for Seattle is Russell Wilson has not been sacked. 12 over the first 2 weeks, and this one's broken up. Marshall the target. Good coverage by Byron Jones, and it's 3 and out for Seattle to start the second half.
Outstanding coverage, and like I said earlier, he's really perfect for this scheme. And typically, when you watch these corners for Dallas, they don't usually get their hands on the receiver. You clearly saw that Byron Jones did there on Brandon Marshall, but a nice 3 and out by the Dallas defense.
Dixon's got a big leg. Drives Austin back inside the 25. Flag is down. And Austin crosses the 40. Flag is on the far side of the field. And they move the flag up across the 40. See who it's against after a 61-yard punt and a 22-yard return.
During the kick, holding receiving team number 21. 10-yard penalty. First down. Timeout.
They called a hold on 21. It should have been on 31. That was Byron Jones, and that cost Dallas some field position, down 14. We welcome you back to Seattle, and we welcome you back to CenturyLink Field. Down 14 points. Cowboys start at their 11. And they start with a false start.
False start. Number 80. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Remains first down.
Cowboys had 3 tight ends in there. That was against Rico Gathers, and Dak Prescott has been getting thrown around and had guys in his face all day.
And that's why some of the throws have been off the mark. I mean, you see the ball land on the ground and you say, wow, what happened there? Well, I can tell you that he's had a lot of people in his face. He's been sacked. He's been harassed. Had a drop. Ezekiel Elliott had a big drop there in that first half, but like we've talked about and pointed out, the offensive line has been getting it to him.
Here's Elliott, who is stumbling as he gets the handoff. The Cowboys in 10 quarters have 1 play of more than 20 yards. And that was the 64-yard touchdown throw to Tavon Austin on the 3rd play of the game last Sunday night against the Giants. It has just been impossible to get big chunks of yardage. And it starts for Scott Linehan and the offensive coordinator with his offensive line. 2nd down and 15. Pass is caught on a diving grab by Thompson. Gets some of the yardage shaved off, a gain of 10. So a more manageable 3rd and 5 coming up.
Dak Prescott that time with a great pocket. Offensive line holds him out, and you hit him in stride. He gets a chance to catch the ball and run, and haven't seen much of that through 3 weeks.
1 for 7 on 3rd down of the Cowboys. 3rd and 5. Pressure. Prescott stays up for a moment, and now he's down. Ripped to the ground by Michael Kendricks. His 2nd with the Seahawks.
Well, Frank Clark, he speed rushes past Tyron Smith. He hits it with a great burst off the line of scrimmage. Not quite as good as the one we saw on Monday night when he was in the backfield before the Giants even got out of their stances. But on third down, he comes flying off the ball, and he's the guy who's picking up the slack for some of those elite pass rushers that they've had around here years before.
Third sack for Seattle. Jones hits another beauty. Checks out of bounds just inside the 40. So Seattle gets it right back. Each side of 3 and out. Seattle right back to work. They scored 10 points in the final 2 minutes of the first half. They lead by 14, and they start this drive at their own 38. Carson gets it. Nowhere to go. Back to the line of scrimmage. That is all. And that was well played up front by this good Dallas defense. The numbers, slow start, but as that first half continued, and then certainly down the stretch in that second quarter, he got hot.
Yeah, he got hot, and I also think he's been mindful of getting the ball out because, you know, whenever there's sacks, the offensive line is the one who gets blamed all the time, and Russell was responsible for a lot of those sacks also. He's done a good job managing that in the pocket.
Here's Carson. Here's Lee delivering a hit. Jones was the first guy there. During the week, Pete Carroll said that at times Russell Wilson is over-trying. He said he doesn't quit. I mean, that's just kind of his nature. And sometimes that gets him into trouble with sacks. Wilson said 3 of the 6 that he suffered at Denver week 1 were on him. I mean, he just doesn't give up on a play. That means he's hanging on to the ball, looking for something downfield, then he takes a sack.
Yeah, he said he's over trying, and sometimes you just need to get the ball out. And I think that was the message that Pete was trying to send to him. And I don't know that Russell, you know, wanted to hear that. He wants to hear that, yeah, you go out and you give everything you got every play. But as a quarterback, sometimes you got to understand situations and help your line out with the ball out.
Third down play, and down goes Wilson. The first sack of the game for this Dallas defense, and who else? DeMarcus Lawrence.
Well, they brought the house. This time they bring both linebackers, Sean Lee and Jalen Smith, and they've got a chip on DeMarcus Lawrence and 2 guys. He splits them, and because of Sean Lee coming around the edge, DeMarcus Lawrence, a one-man wrecking crew from last week against the Giants. And as soon as we start talking about Russell Wilson managing the pocket, the Cowboys collapsed it.
Each guy gets a half. Sean Lee and DeMarcus Lawrence. Fair catch called for by Tavon Austin. So the Cowboys get it right back. Can they move the ball as they trail by 14? Aerial coverage brought to you by State Farm. Just doesn't get any prettier than this city when the sun is out. Glad you're with us today on America's Game of the Week. Yards per pass attempt under 2 for the Cowboys. They want more of this. Zeke sticks his left hand in the face of Earl Thomas with a little hello, how do you do, on his way out of bounds, and a 21-yard carry.
That's good execution right there. They pull Zach Martin out along with Connor Williams, the left guard. They lead the way and create an open space for Ezekiel Elliott.
Three tight ends in there for Dallas. And this time bottled up and then slammed to the ground by Frank Clark. Gain of 2 for Ezekiel Elliott. Here's Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. The battle in L.A. So the Rams were up 28-20 when Jared Goff throws his 3rd touchdown pass of the day, finding Robert Woods for the 2nd time. They lead this one 35-20. Joe, Troy, and Aaron.
An embarrassment of riches for the Rams on offense. Just loaded. With Goff in the middle of it all, getting better seemingly by the week.
Tavon Austin at the top of the screen.
2nd and 8. Prescott throws, pass caught by Swain, his 2nd catch. Gain of 4. This is a play ago. Watch Elliott get slammed down by Clark. And on the outside, Terrence Williams in the face of the rookie Trey Flowers. And then with a forearm and elbow in the back of Elliott while Clark was getting up. 3rd down and 4 here.
That's what they refer to as giving him the business.
That's giving him the business. Prescott, Hearns, 1st down. And the Cowboys needed that.
They sure did. Allen Hearns is one-on-one with Trey Flowers, an excellent release off the line of scrimmage. And the Cowboys were interested in Trey Flowers when he was in the draft. They were wanting him as a safety. But as I said earlier, Seattle only viewed him as a corner. It's a different position, but some of the transition and lateral movements are new for him at that position. Allen Hearns, with a good release, showed why.
Play action, good protection. There's Swain, 2nd catch on this drive. And Swain doing his Jason Witten with a tackle and a little tumble forward for 11, knocked down by McDougal.
Yeah, and speaking of Jason Witten, we had the opportunity to run into his wife yesterday at the Seattle facility, Michelle, and they've become good friends with Brian Schottenheimer and his family because they both have places there in Florida. And when the schedule came out, they said, hey, we'll get the families together and make a weekend of it. But that was before Jason Witten decided to retire. And with him doing football tomorrow night, the family decided to come out anyway.
Oh, he's in Florida, getting ready for the Steelers and the Bucks. Here's Austin. Tavon Austin trying to make this a big play. A little stutter step, and he ends up losing about a yard. Earl Thomas forced him out. And that was well played by Earl and the rest of this Seattle defense.
We talked about Tavon Austin and you know how he was with the Rams, and even with Sean McVay and as creative as he is offensively, he just had he had some injuries too. But trying to get him going, and the big play last week. But really, in studying him over the last few weeks, he's more than just someone that can move in space. He and Cole Beasley are the 2 best route runners on this Cowboys team.
Handoff is to Elliott. Full head of steam, and into that big pile of bodies gets 4, so 3rd down. Meanwhile, Dak Prescott is heating up a little bit. He's completed 9 straight, and he will likely need number 10 here to keep this drive going.
Yeah, it's a nice drive, but 3 points right now really is not going to cut it. So we'll see what Jason Garrett is thinking, but in the meantime, 3rd and 6.
First time in the red zone for the Cowboys. Smith in the backfield next to Prescott. Dak, Frank Clark, down he goes. And the field goal unit will come on for the Dallas Cowboys with under 4.5 to go, 3rd quarter, and that will go down as the 4th sack of Prescott.
They run a game, and you're going to see him come around in a free shot then, and that's what forces Prescott to move up in the pocket. Frank Clark comes off the block. He levels off. He's got his eyes on Prescott. Excellent work on his part. They had a guy starting to come open in the back of the end zone had he have had more time.
35-yard try for Brett Maher, who hit from 50 in the first half. Good snap, good hold. The kick is good. And it's 17-6, an 11-point game. Here in Seattle, Seahawks on top. It is a crisp day in Seattle. Fall is definitely in the air. 3:43 left, quarter number 3. Seahawks lead by 11, about to get the ball back. And there's the drive. 9 plays, 54 yards, and it ends on the Maher 35-yarder. And a chance for a return by Lockett. out near the 28. Well, we've obviously focused a lot on Prescott, focused a lot on Wilson in this game, but how about this guy? Patrick Mahomes, first-year starter, second year in the league. The former GM, John Dorsey, was a guy who selected Baker Mayfield in Cleveland, fell in love with that arm, and man, he's making it look easy. He had 3 more today. He's got 13 touchdown passes over the first 3 games, an NFL record. The Chiefs won at home over San Francisco. Jimmy Garoppolo tore up his knee. Report out there that it could be a torn ACL. Bad day for the 49ers, another good day for the Chiefs at home. Here's a fumble. That ball is out and was recovered by Rashad Penny. Wow. And then it popped out at the very end, but Penny was ruled down, and he says, my fault, a loss of 4.
Yeah, they're fortunate here because the way this ball comes out, you know, you don't normally get that kind of gratuitous bounce, and you're able to get on it the way he was able to. And you know, I talked about this offense being different from the one he ran there at Oklahoma State. He was a power back, so some of those types of plays with him on the side of Russell out of shotgun, a little bit different, and he struggled with it, and they're fortunate to have that ball back.
Second down and 14. This one to the sideline. What a throw and catch. Like Wilson just handed it to Brandon Marshall. Unbelievable.
Do some push-ups for that one and go high-five your quarterback, because this is good coverage by Chidobe Awuzie. That ball went right off his ear hole, and a perfectly thrown pass by Russell Wilson. That's about as good a coverage as you can have and still have a ball completed on it.
Vander Esch is out there, the rookie. Lee on the sideline. Randy Gregory is back in there defensively for Dallas. As Carson carries. Jeff Heath there for the stop. Aaron?
Dallas has been without Sean Lee throughout this entire series. He doesn't even have his helmet with him. Trainers haven't even come over and looked at him. They're not even stretching him. Of course, he came into today's game with a hamstring injury. A couple guys have walked over, asked if he's okay, but you can see his face. He doesn't look too happy.
Last year, Aaron, the Cowboys were 8-3 with him, 1-4 without. He's never played all 16 games. He's had a lot of soft tissue injuries, whether it's the hamstring or that hit that you saw with the helmet moving on his face. Not good. Vander Esch, who takes his place, makes the tackle on Carson after a gain of 5 and a first down.
Yeah, he makes the tackle, 4 yards back, before he picks up the yardage. But Leighton Vander Esch, I think that's a reason why the Cowboys drafted him. Yes, if he's able to play alongside Sean Lee and Jalen Smith, and that's perfect, but he also served as somewhat of an insurance policy with Sean Lee, because we all know what happened to this defense when Sean missed those games, and it's just been a real challenge. And I know no one's more frustrated about it than Sean is, that he hasn't been able to stay any healthier than he has.
Just got the play away as Wilson finds a receiver. That's Brown. And Brown out of bounds with a gain of 9. Here's Carissa with a game break.
Thanks, Joe. So the Bears able to capitalize off a Sam Bradford interception as Jordan Howard takes it in from the 1-yard line. Bears still down by 4. Your Tiger Woods update? Finished 11 under, won by 2 strokes. Joe?
Career win number 80 for Tiger Woods, his first win in 5 years. Vikings lost, Packers lost, Bears with opportunity at Arizona. Get a little closer to the Cardinals. Here's a first down carry by Carson.
We've talked about the protection, but I want to reiterate, this offensive line, they came in with a lot of changes. DJ Fluker, who missed the first 2 ball games, he's in at right guard. They got to move J.R. Sweezy to left guard, a new position for him, a new center, and they are mauling this defensive front right now.
Now they get movement up front with Daniel Ross jumping across. I like what they're doing with the hurry up.
Encroachment defense, 5-yard penalty. Repeat, first down.
They're really picking their spots. They're not doing it for elongated stretches, but when they sense the Cowboys are reeling or back on their heels or trying to make substitution, they get up to the line And they've really been good with that. That's the end of quarter number 3. Seattle driving. They lead by 11 back after this from your local Fox station. 15 minutes left in this one. First down and 5 for Seattle inside the 20. They're at the 18-yard line. Seahawks on their way to their best day running the football through 3 games. Carson 20 carries, 71 yards. Seahawks had gone 22 games without a 100-yard rusher. Here's Carson trying to get the edge, forced out after a gain of a couple.
Don't you kind of sense, Joe, that this third down here for the Cowboys is critical? That if they end up giving up more than a field goal on this drive, it's, from what I've seen, it's hard to imagine, you know, them being able to climb back into this thing here in this fourth quarter. And so a big down, well, 2nd and 3, but this drive, in order to make a stop and not give up a touchdown.
Well, let's see, it's 2nd down and 3. I'm with you because the Cowboys have not shown the ability to stretch the field or get big chunks at all. Here's a throw wide open, Van Ness, the tight end, and there's a first down inside the 10, 1st and goal. Rougier forced him out.
He's right here, and because he's off the ball, you see they switch release it, and then with the receiver going up the field, it allows Van Ness to get to the flat without Anthony Brown being able to play tight coverage on him. That's a well-designed play in a short yardage type 2nd and medium by offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer.
You see the difference, the disparity in the passing yardage, 182 to 58 in favor of the Seahawks, who have looked good here today in their home opener. High snap, handoff to Carson, picks his way to the 5. Rougier on the stop, a gain of 3.
We talk about this offensive line, and you know, Seahawks fans know Tom Cable had been the offensive line coach here for years. Well, they brought in Mike Solari, who's been in the league a long time himself, and like I said, he's had his hands full, you know, with all the moving parts, and they have struggled. They've given up 6 sacks in each of the first 2 games, only 1 here in this game today. But then the offensive line in run blocking has also done a nice job. A lot of late hours for that man, getting this group ready to go with a new center and 2 different guards.
Another high snap, and here's Carson for the touchdown. And the good day continues for Mike Solari's crew and this offensive line. Carson with a big day now.
And the new guy, the big guy, is number 78, DJ Fluker, playing right guard right here. Look at the job that he's able to do. 345 pounds, and he just creates a lane, moving Tyrone Crawford out of the play.
The day for Carson after being an afterthought in Chicago on Monday night. 23 carries, 81 yards, and a touchdown.
That's a big-time drive after the Cowboys come away with 3 points. They had 2 3-and-outs to start this second half, and they answered on the 3rd with a touchdown.
And make it 24-6. Seattle looking for win number 1 in the home opener. Carroll all fired up. There's a scoring drive for Seattle. Took over 5.5 minutes off the clock. Seahawks are aiming for win number 1 on the young 2018 season, with Deontay Thompson waiting for the kick. Janikowski hits it. And on a hop, Thompson right up the gut. So a big hill to climb for Dallas, but let's stay with the Seattle Seahawks as we welcome you inside the booth. I'm Joe Buck, along with the Hall of Famer Troy Aikman. I think you have to come out of this game, at least to this point, thoroughly impressed with the job Pete Carroll has done getting this team ready to play today.
No doubt, and I think when you look around the league at these games and you say, okay, who's the most desperate? And clearly Seattle at 0-2 coming into this game was the most desperate team. No one gets into the playoffs, or at least hasn't in 20 years, starting the year 0-3. And this is a Seattle team that has not always started very fast, but the last time they were 0-2, they finished 10-6.
Here's one to Beasley looking for a one-handed catch, and for the moment, now they say incomplete pass on a late call. Thought they were going to give it to him. It was Justin Coleman, who is one of the league's better slot corners, was there in coverage. Good effort, but clearly incomplete. I'll tell you, the Giants were pretty desperate today too, and they had it stacked up against them, going on the road to Houston, and the Giants won that game over the Texans. The Eagles had their hands full, but got a win at home over the Colts. Second and 10. Elliott with Kendricks spying on him. Out there in coverage, good play, a gain of just 3. Saturday, it's a college football doubleheader on Fox, starting in the Big Ten, with number 14 Michigan taking on Northwestern, then number 11 Washington hosts 20-ranked BYU. It all kicks off Saturday at 4 Eastern on Fox and the Fox Sports app. 3rd and 7.
Looks like they got Seattle there.
Get the call.
Neutral zone infraction. Number 99. Defense. 5-yard penalty. Remains 3rd down.
That's a 5th-round pick out of Maryland a couple of years ago rather, with Quentin Jefferson coming across. There's a look at the NFC East. Washington beat Green Bay. Philly beat Indianapolis. Dallas in trouble here. And the Giants got a win over the Texans. 3rd down and 2 now, and a timeout taken on defense by Seattle. Their first of this second half.
A 30-second timeout.
So with that, we'll be right back after this from Verizon. 3rd down and 2 for Dak Prescott and the Cowboys. Two backs in there. First time we've seen both Smith and Elliott in there together. Elliott gets it and picks up the first down. You see that little zone read, something that the Cowboys featured last week against the Giants. We haven't seen a lot of that so far today.
No, we have not, and some weeks you'll see more of it than others. But I think I'd have to believe that they're looking at this drive as a 4-down drive. If they hadn't picked it up there on 3rd down, I'm pretty certain that they would have been going for it.
Look at Clark get off the ball, coming across. Pass is caught. That's Thompson. He's got another first down. Dak Prescott, after a career-high 45 rushing yards against the Giants, has not carried the ball for quote-unquote rush so far in this game. First down, Dallas. Elliott cuts back, bounces off a hit inside the 30. Loses the ball. And now fighting for it at the bottom of that pile. They say Seattle has it. Knocked out by McDougal. Good work by McDougal, who was behind Elliott. Watch him coming here. Able to punch it out.
It's a great job, like you said. You can see Ezekiel Elliott, he got a little loose with it when he was making the one defender miss, and McDougal coming in right there. It's a little, and then McDougal coming in from behind. He gets his fist right on the ball.
Coleman comes away with it. Second turnover of the game for Dallas. Well, the forced fumble. Good work by number 30, who's had a nice game. Bradley McDougal, the unrestricted free agent picked up a year ago. The carry by Elliott, the 26-yard run, was the longest of the season for Ezekiel. It got him over 100 yards for the game, but that's of little consolation. Second turnover for the Cowboys against none for Seattle. And let's go back to the turnover as the safety knocked it out.
Yeah, McDougal, the job that he's able to do, once Elliott gets through the line of scrimmage, you're going to see 30 and how he just keeps playing right there. And he comes in from behind and strips him. Excellent job. That's Seattle's first forced fumble on the season. And now they have 7 takeaways on the year, and you could tell Ezekiel Elliott very frustrated. He's been good in protecting the football for the most part, but man, when it looked like they might be able to get themselves back into this ball game, a costly fumble.
Here's a handoff to Carson, a nice move in the hole. Turned it into a nice pickup of 6. So the Seahawks reside in the NFC West, a division that now seems dominated by the Rams, who are 2-0 and leading at last check at home over the Chargers. Looking for their first win. Now it's 3rd down and 4. Wilson steps through. Jalen Smith brings him down. And a good play by the linebacker Smith to avoid the first down.
I'm a little surprised by that sequence by Russell Wilson. They went to a hurry up. He snapped the ball there with 20 seconds on the play clock. Now he does go down rather than you know, going out of bounds and all that, but they got the ball snapped awfully early, and I know they've had some success with that hurry up, but you'd think at this point in the ball game they'd be trying to bleed a little clock.
It goes down officially as a sack. So that's the second of the game. The Cowboys defense, line drive, end over end punt. Little room here for Austin. But that room is gone as downfield the play is made by Shaq Griffin. Shaquem Griffin, the rookie, and that's got Carroll cheering on the sideline again. Charged up Earl Thomas is getting set before this first down play by the Cowboys. Thomas was one of the 2 takeaways today for this Seahawks defense. They start with Elliott on the ground, and a nice cutback adds to a big day coming off that fumble, which was the 7th career fumble for Elliott and only the 2nd over his previous 14 games. And now the Cowboys will hurry it up after a 19-yard carry. He's got 127 yards on the ground as Elliott. There hasn't been much through the air. Here's a completion. That's Gallup. And the rookie Gallup is down at the 21-yard line. The Cowboys pick up 2 big chunks. That was good for 17.
It sure was, and the run by Elliott, an excellent job on the cutback by him, but the Seahawks got a little soft. Now they come up and they challenge these wide receivers.
Now Prescott finally carries it for the first time. A flag is down. As Prescott got around the corner.
Flag came out around the area of Michael Gallup.
Yeah, I saw the same thing. Maybe on a
illegal use of hands. Number 37, defense. 5 yards will be added to the end of the play. Automatic. First down.
You thought there might be a hold out there on the edge with Prescott running on Gallup. Instead, they get Trey Flowers. And down at the bottom right there, his right. I don't know. I don't see anything.
Yeah, nor did I.
Nor did Mike Pereira. A phantom penalty adds 5 yards and takes it to the 6.
Well, this is why Rico Gathers is active, but he's not on the field. I'm a little surprised down here in the red zone. This is where they like him.
Prescott to his right, fires a fastball off the hands of Gallup. And that stops the clock at 7:15 to go. And there's still a chance for the Dallas Cowboys to A, feel better about things coming out of here, and B, maybe climb right back into this game.
Well, here comes Rico Gathers, and former basketball player at Baylor, hasn't played football since 8th grade until last week. He got into an NFL game for the first time, and keep an eye on him. Now, I thought they might spread him out and let him go one-on-one and post up a defender. But as of at least when they break that huddle, he's on the end of the line.
Timeout taken by Seattle. They are left with one. On Thursday night, we'll be in downtown Los Angeles. Thursday nights are about to get a lot bigger as Fox becomes the new network home for Thursday night football. Good matchup. Vikings and the Rams. NFC heavyweights Thursday at 7:30 Eastern on Fox. Also live on NFL Network. Streaming on Prime Video. Now it's a game. And the Rams will come into that game with a record of 3-0. They beat the Chargers. That game just ended.
Well, during that stop of play, they took Rico Gathers out, but allowed conversation with him and Jason Garrett and staff.
Now a flag.
12 players on defense. Half the distance to the goal. Second down.
That's the second time they've gotten Seattle for that penalty in the game, and there's what you're talking about with Gathers over the sideline during the timeout.
Well, if they don't score here, I would expect to see him come back into the game.
Second and goal. Toss to Austin. Austin for the touchdown. A little flip to Austin coming down the line, and he took it in as he was getting tackled. Right now it goes down as a touchdown pass to bring the Cowboys a little closer.
That's a nice touchdown pass by Dak Prescott when you're able to just flip the ball there to Tavon Austin and let him do his thing. And you got the back going one way, him coming the other way, and good block up front. He punches it in.
With Rasheem Green and Bradley McDougald on him. Able to take it in instead of going for two to try to make it a 10-point game. The extra point makes it 24-13. With 7:11 to go. I know Seattle's about to go on offense, but something you talked a lot about during the break is just the overall mood of Earl Thomas in this game. He reported on Thursday of week one, and he played brilliantly, got an interception at Denver week one. He looks like he hasn't missed a beat. He's let it be known to the world that he wants to be a Dallas Cowboy if they're not going to extend his contract. And while he's kind of took Friday off for personal reasons, didn't practice in the pregame, cameras caught him along the Dallas sideline, and another greeting with Jason Garrett. He's been a bit lighter here today.
Yeah, he sure has, and like you said, we've seen him throughout this day just very enthusiastic, and watching him leading up to this game, he's played like the Earl Thomas that I've known all these years. Through the first 2 weeks, he's played great again today, and who knows how all of this is going to end and where Earl's head is, but he's been into it and he's played awfully well.
Team high 7 tackles for Thomas today, and that first half interception. So out to the 25 for Russell Wilson in this 11-point game.
Well, we'll see if there's a look at the players that they no longer have in that secondary that was so dominant. And Earl Thomas, of course, he's still here, but in the final year of his contract. And
Sherman.
Let's see.
There's Cam Chancellor. He raised the 12th man flag before the opening kickoff in a nice moment here. The 4-time Pro Bowler. Great player, had to retire with a neck injury that just didn't get any better. It was fun to watch. No doubt. Here is Lockett. Brought down by Brown.
We'll keep an eye here and see what Russell Wilson does. There's 33 seconds on the play clock, and I would think that that they've instructed him to run this thing down. The challenge is when you start doing that, you don't want to hold guys at the line of scrimmage. You don't want to be in the huddle. As a quarterback, you try to manage it as best you can without the offense losing any type of rhythm.
Second down and 5. Carson, the tailback, gets it. Goes around Smith, but a nice tackle by the rookie Van Der Esch. No gain. It'll be third down now for Seattle. Cowboys with all 3 of their timeouts remaining. There's time to do something about this score right now, an 11-point game.
Well, there's definitely time. That last touchdown drive by the Cowboys took less than 2 minutes, so they certainly make a stop here. They got all the time in the world to make it happen.
Sean Lee still out with the hamstring injury. It was a question coming in. Van Der Esch now with 8 tackles in his place. Third down and 4. Wilson throws. Pass is incomplete. Contact, no flag with Lockett, the target, and he was locked up with Awuzie. So a 3 and out, and the Cowboys going to get it right back.
Well, that's a great job by Chidobe Awuzie, number 24, and you see how he's able to transition and turn. And yeah, there was contact, but I like that there was no call and just playing good physical defense, and that's just excellent coverage by Awuzie.
Dixon a punt. Line drive, not a very good punt, but let's see the hop. Austin. Well covered downfield by Justin Coleman. 48-yard punt, nothing on the return. The Cowboys will go to work with the ball at their own 20.
I don't think you can state how good a tackle that was by Justin Coleman. It's not easy to do, especially against a guy like Tavon Austin. He makes him miss. He's got some separation and a chance in space to make a few more people miss him, and it looks entirely differently on field position.
Prescott to Swaim, a catch, and now they say incomplete. Initially they said catch, then the whistle to say incomplete, and if nothing else, that saves Dallas some time on the clock. 5:24 left. It's 2nd and 10.
Well, you look at this, Joe, and you start asking yourself, you know, is there a big play in this passing game? The biggest completion today is 17 yards to Michael Gallup, and you know, Ezekiel Elliott, he's had some runs, but you know, they've got to throw the ball, and who's going to be the guy to get down the field to create the big play?
This one is tipped and incomplete off the right hand of Elliott. Well, they added Bryce Butler, who can run. They brought him back, but he's inactive for this game, and this throw was well behind Elliott.
When a defense is playing prevent, they're not really prevent, but they're playing soft because of the situation, and they should be. Then these checkdowns can become big, especially when Ezekiel Elliott has the ball in his hands. And you know, that's one of those throws that's not going to show up in the box score as any big deal, but it was a big miss, and you can't miss those.
Third down and 10. Prescott well protected. The tight end Swaim, a long way to go. Coleman with a stop. It's 4th down. And we'll watch Jason Garrett and see what he wants to do. He keeps his offense out there on 4th and 3.
Yeah, I like this. I mean, you're betting that if you don't make it, your defense can make a stop, force a field goal. It's still then just a 2-score game at 14 points. So I think with under 5 minutes to go, I don't think he has any choice.
Four-man rush. Prescott for Beasley. Gets the first down across the 40. Flowers brings him down, but not before 16 yards on 4th and 3, and a flag is down.
Passer
for
number
roughing
99,
the passer.
Defense. 15 yards added to the end of the play. Automatic first down.
It's a 31-yard pickup because of this call for roughing the passer.
Unbelievable.
What is going on?
Unbelievable.
Quentin Jefferson. That goes down as roughing the passer. Mike Pereira is here. We'll see if we get a chance to talk to him, but some of these are just unbelievable calls now. Prescott pulls it down, will run and slide. Let's go back to that call. Mike Pereira, what did you think of this call?
I think we just better get used to this because it's been consistent like this. Talked to Stephen Jones before the game and the competition committee. Even Stephen thinks it's gone too far. They've got to get that needle back a little bit to where we've got more common sense.
I'm not even going to comment on it anymore. It's just ridiculous.
First down, Dallas at the 31. A lot of time at the line of scrimmage. Pass is incomplete as Prescott and Elliott were on different pages of the playbook. 3:39 left, 2nd and 10. Crowd trying to climb back into it. Seattle has been in control the majority of the day, but there's opportunity here for Dallas.
Well, I think it's right here with Tavon Austin. He's the 4-3 burner.
Extra men on the rush and pass to Beasley underneath for a first down. The Cowboys hurry to the line. McDougal in coverage, gain of 12.
Yeah, with soft coverage and allow Cole Beasley an easy release and easy catch.
Beasley came away limping after that tackle. Here's one over the middle in the air, and it is intercepted by Seattle and Earl Thomas as he bows to the Dallas sideline. And that drew a flag. Let's take another look.
Yeah, the ball gets tipped up, and Jarwin is basically just trying to knock the ball down, get it out of there, and pull it in. It's just the hot potato, and Earl Thomas, the guy who seemingly is always around the ball, comes up with it once again.
Taunting, number 29 of the intercepting team.
He gets called for the taunting.
First down.
With the bow to the Cowboys sideline right here. His 2nd interception of the game, his 3rd of the year. Jarwin kept it alive.
Yeah, at
and
first
Thomas is there to pick it off.
Yeah, at first I thought that Jarwin was basically trying to knock it down, but he actually was still trying to pull it in after it got popped up in the air. And Earl Thomas, I don't know that he needed an audition, and I don't know if this is one, but he has had himself a heck of an afternoon.
28th career interception. 2nd career multiple interception game for Earl Thomas, the 6-time Pro Bowler. It seems like every time we do a Seattle game, reminds the world just how good he is back there. A nose for the ball, covers a ton of ground. He plays center field for this defense. You know, his former coordinator, and before that, defensive back coach, is now the defensive coordinator for the Dallas Cowboys, Kris Richard.
Well, he would make any defense better. There's no doubt about that. But can he run routes too? I guess is the question. Because this offense for the Cowboys, they need some big play ability, and that's as much of a problem in the games that I've seen. You know, defensively, they've been good. They were good week 1. They were outstanding on Sunday night. And overall, they played well enough to win today.
And off to Carson. He is swarmed back near the 6. Leighton Vander Esch. Timeout is taken. Stop the clock with 3 minutes left. Yeah, that's the problem for Dallas. Their problems aren't on defense. It's the offensive line and the guys on the outside. No real presence at tight end. A recap of the game. Jaron Brown had a touchdown. Tyler Lockett went 52 yards for a touchdown. Chris Carson carried one in. And Pete Carroll has said, it doesn't feel any different despite all those Pro Bowlers being gone. He said, we just have to learn how to win again. It feels like it did back in 2012 when they got Russell Wilson and then went to and won the Super Bowl in 2013. Went to the Super Bowl and they were a yard away from another win the following year. They're young. They still have number 3. 3rd down and 12. Hand off to Carson. Reverses field. Heath can't bring him down, and Carson just fought his way near the 1st down marker with Wilson out in front blocking. You want to know his dedication? 1st down Seattle. And Russell Wilson got involved out there leading the way.
And Pete Carroll loves it. Yeah. When you talk about Pete Carroll, when he came in, he and John Schneider back in 2010, and the rebuild job that they had to do, they had back-to-back 7 and 9 seasons, and then they went off and have had 6 consecutive winning seasons since then. You know, even last year, not making the playoffs, but they were 9 and 7. This is an organization under Pete Carroll that is accustomed to winning football games.
Dallas uses their final timeout. Here's Kurt with a game break.
Well, the Rams are accustomed to winning by double digits. 3rd straight week they've done that. Jared Goff, another big game. 354 yards, 3 touchdown passes, including this one to Cooper Kupp. They win it 35-23 over the Chargers. You will see them in Thursday Night Football this week hosting the Minnesota Vikings. I know you guys will be there. Joe, Troy, Aaron, and Mike.
Yeah, we can't wait. Going to be fun on Thursday night. Vikings coming off a disappointing day. Here's Carson. He is a yard away from a 100-yard game. That gets him to 99. And this offensive line for Seattle should be very proud of the group effort they've turned in here against a good Dallas defense.
Well, I think all the things that Seattle talked about, Pete Carroll, Brian Schottenheimer, Russell Wilson, when we visited with them yesterday, they've been able to do. I think when you look at Chris Carson's numbers, you're going to say, well, heck, he only averaged a little over 3 yards a carry, but yet he's ran the ball 30 times. And that's the formula for Pete Carroll, as I said. Run the ball, make them play the run, take some shots when you have them, play defense. He's won a lot of football games with that philosophy, and he's going to win another football game here today doing it the same way.
They're calling a delay of game, and just with, it looked like less than 1 second of difference, and they're going to put 2:01 on the clock. I think Russell Wilson thought that they were matched up. They let the play clock expire, but the penalty for delay of game comes at 2:01. So that moves the ball back inside the 15 to the 14. And this will be the final snap before the 2-minute warning. See if Carson can get over 100 yards on the day. And he can. And with that, now we're at the 2-minute warning. 1:57 left. Seahawks on their way to the first win of the year, sending Dallas to 1-2. America's Game of the Week. Troy, your transportation down the coast to Los Angeles is arriving as we speak with under 2 to go.
Is that all I get?
3rd down and 10 here for Seattle. Just needing to avoid the turnover. Handoff is to Carson. Cowboys don't want any more post-whistle penalties as Carson gets into it with Antoine Woods. Play clock is still winding down with 22 seconds left, and Chris Carson is the first Seahawk with a 100-yard rushing day over the last 23 games. That's what you came to expect when you came up here to watch Seattle when Marshawn Lynch was a Seahawk. It's been a while. And for Carson, 31 rush attempts, the most by a Seahawk since Marshawn Lynch back in 2011. They said they were going to stick with a run, and they did. And they rode that in the arm of Russell Wilson to what is a likely victory as Tavon Austin returns it. And they mark it at the 43 of Seattle.
Yeah, it was run the ball and then protect Russell Wilson, don't take sacks, and even for Wilson to get the ball out. 2 sacks are what it's going to show. One of those, not because of the offensive line, it was when Russell Wilson ran out of bounds short of the line to or short of the line of scrimmage, and just an overall outstanding job against the red-hot Dallas defense coming in.
Prescott, Hearns, incomplete. And for Dallas, Troy, they came in with the opportunity to find answers about this offense, and they have more questions. You know, it's who's going to step up? Do they have anybody that can stretch the field? Do they have a tight end they can count on? Gathers has been a non-factor. They didn't run the ball with Prescott today. They have a home game against Detroit next week. It looks like they'll be 1-2 heading into it. Out of bounds when he caught that. Incomplete. While Seattle, they are at Arizona. Then a home game against the Rams, at Oakland, and then they will have their bye.
There's some looks even there against soft coverage, and it's not these receivers. They should be able to throw 15-yard curl routes, which is what they just ran. And they can't even throw those against a defense that's giving them up. It's like throwing on air.
And now down goes Prescott with a flag on the play. Jaron Reed got through.
Holding, number 71, offense. Penalties declined. 4th down.
I think he got through a hold by La'el Collins and then got the sack nonetheless.
Yeah, La'el Collins gets him around the neck. But, to follow up that this Dallas team, they're good when they can run the ball and they can play good defense, which they're certainly capable of doing. But when they get into situations where they're not running the ball well and they have to throw, and it's not just this year, they struggle. And they're not going to be the team they hope to be until that improves dramatically.
Prescott cannot find anywhere to go with it. Here is Swain, who makes a nice grab out of bounds with 37 seconds left. And this is the second time in 3 games that the Cowboys will be shut out of the end zone until the 4th quarter. It matches up with their Week 1 loss, 16-8 at Carolina. And it's a turnover on downs as Swain was short of the first down, so it goes from bad to worse. Those are just stats. But 12 hits on Dak Prescott, and this offense didn't show really anything.
No, the 2 times this year that, well, and even last week, I think everyone got excited because they beat the Giants and the defense dominated, but offensively after the first quarter explosion, they really didn't do much. It has been, and you get that back by doing it on the field. Not so much on the practice field, even though that's where it starts, but a great win by Seattle and a game they had to win. And they came out and got it done, and Pete Carroll's excited about that.
He has kept that positive outlook. You saw Russell Wilson give the ball to Chris Carson, who had a big game, the guy he rode back from Chicago with on the team charter, to remind him of just how talented he is. And this was a dominant win today by Seattle. They're 1-2, as are the Cowboys. To take you to the end of the Bears and the Cardinals, here's Dick, Mark, and Jennifer.